Este serón con day en computers.com otro video para ti hoy. I have before me a MacBook Pro, and I still receive a few computer repair customers, but really not that many like I used to, and quite frankly I don't care, but it's always been part-time the last 6-7 years or whatnot. I have not written a blog post yet, but eventually, I'm not sure when, I will write a blog post for this video. So once the blog post is written, click on the link in the description box below with more information, more details. I just received this Mac like a half an hour ago, and I will go over what the problem is. It intermittently crashes. It just shuts off. And according to the customer, it gets hot up here towards the MacBook Pro label above the keyboard, and let's see, it has a bad battery that doesn't charge. What else? The DVD drive doesn't work. This is, I think, a 2009 or 2011 MacBook Pro. I had to clean it up for the video, but it was very dirty, and the customer didn't like that I locked my door. I don't understand these Americans, man. He calls me up and says he's got a problem with the Mac, and he finally shows up, and then this isn't a retail location. It's a commercial building. No. I wouldn't allow these Americans into my premises. No. It's a small office. Well, the problem is that there's a lot of these clowns that, I should probably put a sign outside my office saying no solicitation. What they'll do is they'll solicit sales, and they'll just multiple times. I've even caught people. I was in the front of my office, and all of a sudden I heard the door handle move, and people will just open the door and barge right in, and they'll walk all the way into my back area of my office, which nobody's allowed except for me, and my private area where I have like a little here. See, I've got like a little lab. Look, I've got a LCD TV I need to fix. I've got my recovery machine. I've got a bunch of metal down there. I've got, a little cart with computers on it. This is my private area, man. And so anyways, so this customer, the first thing out of his mouth is like, "You made it really difficult to get here." I'm like, "Oh, okay." He's like, "Well, how come your door was locked?" And I had to fucking explain to him that you've got these schmucks that what they do is they just barge right into your office and they start trying to sell you shit. They'll try to sell you bottled water or the internet. Comcast called me the other day, and I basically hung up on the guy. I cannot stand Xfinity internet. And he was trying to sell me garbage. Or they'll just walk right in and try to sell you Comcast internet. It's like, anyways. So here's the Mac. It's got a Logitech drive. This is all important. It's got an external Logitech wireless mouse with the little dongle, the USB dongle. So I'm going to strip it down. I think what is causing this MacBook Pro to intermittently, unexpectedly just power off, it just seizes up, is I think it's overheating, just from the discussion with this customer. So I'm going to strip it down as much as I can. And then also, I don't even know what model it is now. This is a replacement charger. The first one failed, and so this is a replacement. You have to get the correct ones. They're not universal. They look almost the same, but they're not. You have to get the correct model. So this is a replacement AC adapter, so that's one thing to be aware of. It could be many reasons why the computer just shuts itself off. It could be a failing adapter, but this is a replacement. It could be a battery. It could be memory. It could be the motherboard. It could be overheating. I think it's probably overheating, but I don't know that yet. So let me set aside some of this. I strip everything down. So I'm going to put this aside. I just want to show you what it came with. And believe it or not, these little USB devices can cause problems. Because again, it's an external. It's a peripheral. And the mother, it could even be a failing USB port. I'm not saying that's what it is, but when I troubleshoot, I strip it down as much as I can. So let me set that stuff aside. I've got a Phillips. You only need a Phillips, and I'll show you why. I've got a little small Phillips screwdriver. Now I'm going to flip it over. I don't even know what the model number is yet. I just received this computer like a half an hour ago, and so I don't even know yet. It is a model number. It's very scratchy, but it's old. It's, you know, what, 2009 or 2011 Mac. I can't even read it really. Right here, I think it's an 1151. I'm not sure. Probably an 1151, but it's kind of scratched. That could be a problem. It could be not. Now with Macs, sometimes they have Phillips style screws, sometimes they have hexadecimal screws, and you do not want to strip them. This is a very small, I got this for free. It's a very small Phillips screwdriver, very small. And for these screws, there's only 1, 2, 3, 4. I think there's only 4 screws to take this cover off. Now, the client claimed that the battery does not cause a charge. That could be the problem too. Believe it or not, especially with PCs, laptops, I ran across 1 or 2 computers where the computer would not boot unless the battery was installed, even a failing battery. I ran across some computers that even with a good battery, it would cause the computer not to boot. So it's just some very weird, computers can be weird at times. So I'm going to take the battery out because I'm going to strip this out. Now you think that, well, the battery isn't charging, and why would it cause the computer to freeze? Because it's a peripheral. This looks like the original rechargeable ion battery pack, model AP A1189, 10.8 volts, 68 watt hours. It's a ion battery. It's pretty. This is probably the original. It's got a tester, like the Dells. You push in on this. I think, I could be wrong. No, I'm pretty sure that's a tester. You press in this button and it's supposed to light up, but not lighting up. That could be the problem, or maybe not. I don't know yet. So I'm going to take this out and set it aside. Now, looks like this is the touchpad maybe, and okay, so now what we're going to do is I'm going to remove these screws. What I want to do is I want to get to the fan. If my theory is correct that this computer is dusty, that's what I think is going on. I think the computer is full of dust, and that will cause a computer to overheat, even a Mac. And here's the type of screws that you're going to have to deal with. So set those aside, don't lose them. These are just, that one is loose, but oh, wait a minute. You want to make sure you use the right tools because you don't want to strip them. Some Macintoshes I have noticed come with the hexadecimal screws, some come with the standard, Phillips. I don't know why that is. Couldn't tell you why. Here's the 4th one. Alright, let's see if the cover comes off or not. Let's move that. Oh, you know what? I think there's screws on the side that you have to... I could be wrong. Let's see if this is... I've never taken apart one like this before. Not all MacBook Pros are the same. Some of them... Usually there's ones with about 12 screws all around the edge, and then the cover comes off. This one doesn't look like that's the case, pun intended. So let's see, what are we going to have to do here? This might have only loosened up. I wonder what it loosened up. Come on. Maybe just the keyboard? Whoops. It doesn't look like that's enough screws to get this. So what we're going to do here is there's four screws here, and I'm looking for the fan. That's another thing I need to do. Now he said it would get really hot up here, and he would kind of lift it up and it would help it cool off. Well, that tells me that there's a problem with air. It's not getting enough airflow, which tells me that most likely the fan is dusty. Alright, so how about we go for these first and see what's underneath here. This is where the battery sits, and then there's a cover here. So there's 4 screws, and this little cover comes right off. Oh, the memory. It could also be memory. I think I went over that at the beginning of this video. It could also be memory that causing it to, oh yes, memory is gonna, like the DVD drive most likely isn't gonna cause it to seize up. Even the battery is less likely to cause it to seize up versus the memory. But I am going to strip this computer down to what I normally do. So there's the small screws, set them aside, don't lose them. And I'm just going to take the memory out for now. I'm going to strip this guy down to as much as possible. So you just press in on these little levers and you pull it out. Probably DDR2. Yep, I was correct. Right there it says DDR2. I don't know if the camera picks it up. So we're going to set aside the memory, and I'm going to pull both. Let's see if I can. Usually you can do this with just your fingers, but sometimes you need to help it. Okay, so we're going to pull this other memory. I think it's probably another 1 gig. Now another thing I notice is this is Micron memory because of the logo with the M and the little, I don't know, that's supposed to be like Jupiter with rings. I don't know. Micron memory is the M, and this is something other brand that I don't even know. Lifetime memory products, 1 gigabyte. I don't know. This could be generic memory. That could be a problem. You don't necessarily want to mix and match memory. I do it, but you're not really supposed to. And you want to make sure you have the same speed memory. So just by looking at it, this is PC2 5300 1 gigabyte. This is PC2 5300. So probably the right speed, but it's different manufactured memory, and but so we're gonna set these aside with the rest of my hardware that I've collected now. And so there's the plate. We'll set that aside. Now I need to know how to take the rest of this cover off. So probably, you notice there's a screw here, there's a screw here, and there's a screw there by the audio ports, the audio jacks, and there's a screw there. So 4 screws there, 1 here on the back, and 1 here, there, and then probably 4 more. There's 1 there by the DVI connector. There's 1 there between the Ethernet and Firewire, IA1394, and there's 1 there. Whoops, and there's 1 there. And then how about the front? Nothing there. Now this DVD when I get a computer, I can't help but notice things that break, and I never judge my customers. But I was trying to kind of repair this, and I did a little bit. You notice it's actually cracked. This is the DVD drive that doesn't work. Most likely that's not what's causing this computer to seize up, because unless it's causing some kind of a... Generally DVDs that no longer work, that fail, don't cause computers to just crash or just seize up. But I strip everything down. Now this is actually cracked. And what I did when I got this computer, it was like this. So I noticed it was broke, but I'm just weird. As soon as my first reaction is to fix things. I'm so mentally ill as a computer technician that even in front of a customer, they're talking, and I notice something is broken, and I immediately try to fix it for them. I don't judge them. he admitted that the DVD drive didn't break. This is common with Macs. It's common for the plastic to break. So I just moved it up with my fingers just to make it look nicer. And there. Even though the drive doesn't work. So, you know, there. Now, let's get to the screws. I'm pretty sure that's the screws you have to remove to get the bottom cover off. And they're all the same type of screws. They're all Phillips. I've never ran across a Mac that had both hexadecimal and Phillips, but I haven't worked on every Mac. I've never worked on a Mac like this. Most Macs I've worked on is just about, I would say, 12 screws all around, and then the cover just lifts up. This one's a little bit different, but I have not worked on every Mac ever manufactured. I don't even own a Mac, but I support them. But I am planning on trying to get an older MacBook, maybe $200. I want to get something decent though, something, you know, not too. Whoops! I don't want to lose that one. I don't want to spend too much money, but I want something decent that I can upgrade to at least High Sierra. You know what I'm saying? This operating system is 10.6. So he claimed that he could not upgrade it any further. Now, when I get a computer with the customer, I don't upgrade the operating system unless they request it, because the Apple operating systems, they can change a lot. And if you think you're doing something good, you think that you're helping your customer out by upgrading it for them, but what can happen is that the new version of the operating system the menu is different. Some of the menu options are changed, or the interface changes, or even with a couple applications it changes, and that'll piss them off. But what I do is I do install updates. If I notice that there's some updates for that operating system, let's say El Capitan, I will go ahead and try to install them for them. And I'll just tell them, oh, I noticed that there were some updates and I installed them for you. Similar to Windows, Microsoft Windows 10. When I work on a Microsoft Windows computer, I always make sure that I install all the available updates. Vista, XP, 7, 8, 10, and I just do that as an added bonus. And I tell the customer, look, there were some updates, I installed them for you. And same thing with Mac. I always install updates on Macs for my customers. But I do not upgrade their operating system unless they request it, by request only. And the same thing with Windows. I do not perform operating system upgrades unless by request. Yeah, I dropped a screw down below, but I'll be able to find it later. But I was going to try to find it. Okay, so we have, how many more do we have? I think we've got, so both sides, and then now I think we got them all. So let me make sure I don't lose any more screws. And the back cover should lift off now. It should. So this is similar to like a PC, although it's really not. I'm trying to see how it comes off. Okay, so we got all those screws. Well, you know what I noticed? I don't know if you have to remove these. I don't think so. I'm going to leave those alone. Let me see. Yeah. Well, there's one thing that's getting in the way here, and that's I don't want to break anything. So it's kind of, yeah, maybe if I set it on its side. I'm gonna get my little pick. Now that one's separating pretty good. Can I get that on camera? This is a MacBook Pro 17-inch screen, so this is a wide one. So it doesn't even fit underneath the camera. See, this is a big fucker. Let me get my little pick that I got for free. These break though, but whatever. Here's just a pick. You can use a guitar pick for this, but I use these free picks that I get when I replace screens. Okay. Oh, well, duh. I'm not even thinking. Let me try to... I'm trying to get this on camera at the same time as... Okay, so I'm going to use the pick. Now that separates real well. But what doesn't separate... Now this separates real well down here. Just run it. It's not separating where the touchpad is. And it separates right there. See, that's real good. It's already separated. I don't want to break anything. It's the front, so I think it's these, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure what to do with them. Is there any screws? Does this have to come out? I don't see anything. Oh, there are. Oh, you know what? See, that's why you want to proceed with caution, because you don't want to break anything. You see right there, there's 3 screws. One there, and one there. So I'm glad I caught that, because now you don't want to break your customers' computers. I mean, this one's already kind of banged up, but no, man. So I'm gonna get these 3 screws, and that should be it. This is a weird Mac compared to the other ones I've worked on. Alright, so we got that one. All of the screws have been... There's only 2 types of screws. There's these longer ones and these shorter ones, but they're the same size. They're the same. They're really small. So that's all you'll have to deal with. You only need one little Phillips screwdriver. So let me get the second screw. They're angled at a weird, like a not 45-degree angle, but they're kind of angled. It's obvious they were angled so you could get to them. Otherwise, how the fuck could you unscrew them? Because they're hidden below here. You see how? Okay, so now there we go. So I got it, but I do not want to lose that screw. So I'm gonna have to flip this Mac and let it drop. Oh, there it is. So you see how they were hidden down here? But they're underneath. They're underneath down, but they're a little bit angled. Now I think I can get the cover off now. Okay, they're not done yet. Yeah, I think I have to take these off now. It's loose here. See how it's loose? I don't even need to use the pick. So it's loose there. It's loose on the sides. It's loose near the screen. But now something else. I think it's probably these right here. Oh, these are hex. See, this is the problem. Now, I earlier in this video I said I didn't think I ran across a Mac that had both Phillips and hexadecimal screws. Well, here's the first one. So these 2 right here are hex. And so I'm going to have to find my little hex screwdriver. I've got a little thing of my little toolkit Yeah, let's see if I can find it. Not that one. This one might do it actually. That might be good enough. No, I don't think so. No, that one's too small. I have another set. Oh, here's one. This is a hexadecimal tool. Yep, it's perfect. That's the right size. Oh man. There it goes. There it goes. So you have to make sure you get enough torque, but you don't want to strip them out, but then you also want to loosen the screw. There it goes. Alright, so we're gonna, now these are a little bit longer and they're hex, so I have to remember that, because you want to make sure you put the hex back in the same. So I have to set these hex aside somehow. They're different. I can always go back and replay this video if I forget. Now in my opinion, the cover should come off, but I could be wrong. Let me move this shit. Alright, so let's see. We'll get this Mac cover off. Let's see what's causing a problem here. We'll release that. There it goes. There we go. Now we got it taken apart, so we got all the screws. Now you have to be careful, because even with PCs, a lot of times the ribbon cables for the touchpad or mouse, built-in mouse, or nipple mouse, or the keyboard, the ribbon cable will still be obviously connected, and they don't leave much room to spare. And so you do, is that on camera? You do not want to just tear apart. You don't just want to tear apart shit, and because you'll break a ribbon cable. And some of these on older computers are impossible to find, or you have to order them, and you know what I mean. You'd have to. Anyways, I don't want to digress. So we're gonna have to disconnect that. So this is the easy type. It just pulls apart, and then in order to reattach it, you just, let's see, where does it go again? I think right there. You just put it over and you just press down. But come on. They're a little bit finicky. There it is right there. So you just put it over and you line it up correctly and then press down. So they're not all the same. But this one is easy. You just pull it and then it comes loose. Because now I can get, there's the fan. There's the fan right there. Although by just looking at it, it doesn't look like it's that dusty. But maybe the fan is failing. Maybe it's not turning on. Yeah, that would cause it to overheat. Now I'm still gonna probably blow it, but as you can see on video, how shall I twist this so you can see it? It doesn't have that much dust in it. I'm still gonna blow it out, so it's not, I'm wrong, it's not a dusty fan. Even with Macs, this will get all corroded with dust. It'll just all be dusty, and that's a quick clue. Even on a desktop computer, the heat sink is all full of dust and the fan is all mostly dust. That right there will cause the computer to overheat, even intermittently. So I don't think it's the fan. No, it's not dusty. It's actually quite clean. I'm kind of surprised. Oh, this has two fans. A fan here, and it's got another fan on the other side right there. It's got double fans. This is, most computers I work on don't have double fans, especially PCs. This one, it's not dusty. I'm still gonna blow it out just because that's how I roll. You know, I may as well while I'm at it, but it's very little. There could be some dust somewhere around there, but it's not enough even to the naked eye that it's gonna cause it to overheat. However, it could be that one or both fans are failing. So what I'm gonna do now is since I have it taken apart, and my theory is that the computer is overheating, I am now going to power it on and make sure that all the fans work since I already have it taken apart. That would be my next step in my troubleshooting. So let me put it the way it should be, and I'm going to take this out. This only has one connector, and if you notice, you see the little connector right there? They're a snap down. They'd snap down into the port. That's all. So it's only one connector. This is the keyboard. It's the keyboard and the touchpad all into one. And you can even see it. It comes from the touchpad circuit board, and then there's a connector from the keyboard right there. And so it's an all-in-one. This is unique. Usually the touchpad has a separate connector and the keyboard has a separate connector. But anyways, so let me set this aside. I should still be able to power on the MacBook Pro without the keyboard connected. It'll just error out, or it just won't boot into the operating system. Well, I don't know that for a fact, but on a Windows computer without a keyboard, it might beep at you and tell you there's no keyboard, but it should at least try to boot into Windows. You know what I'm saying? Let me make sure I have enough. Yeah, this should reach. Okay, so here's the connector, so let me plug it in. And now another thing I need to be aware of is one of the keys came off. It didn't break. I didn't break it, it just came off. So let's try to rectify that right now. So it came off, it didn't break off, and I'm going to just try to snap it back in. I can even line it up. Let's see which way. Probably, yeah, like this. See if I can get it to snap back in. These can be a pain in the ass. It's got two little snaps there that if you line it up, it should. Oops, it's off. It should be right there. So I think I have to it's not lining. You have to. That's very strange. Come on. Well, I'll have to deal with that later. Now, I didn't break it. You know, it just came loose when I took the keyboard off, so you have to be aware of that. But there's these two little pegs there, right there. But the thing is that it doesn't line up right. It should line up right there, but look, it overruns the edge. If in order to line up, it would be like this, but look, it's gonna get stuck here. So I have to figure out a way to put it inside first and then snap it down. That's where the problem I'm having. I don't want to spend too much time on this. Yeah, it's not even lining up. It still won't line up. Look. Very odd. That is the weirdest shit. It's not even close. You have to. Boy, I don't. Does that come apart? Oh man, I don't want to have to do that. Yeah, the entire. What I might have to do is I might have to take this entire I don't want to do that because these cables, what are the ribbon cables, I don't want to have to take the ribbon cables. Then I have to unhook them and then to get to the fucking keyboard. Alright, well, I'll save that for later. I don't have time right now, but I will fix that. Alright, so now let me plug it in. And make sure it's plugged in, and now we're gonna power it on. Now wait a minute, I have to connect this because this has the power too, so I still have to connect this. I should probably disconnect the power while I connect the top cover. There we go, we got it connected. And now the thing is I'm gonna have to, oopsie, it's gonna want to come off. Let's see, try to angle it so that it doesn't come loose. And okay, so can you see the fans? There's one there, there's one there, and let me try to move it as close as possible so that you'll be able to see it when the fans come on. Yeah, I should be able to replace the key on the keyboard. It's weird. I might have to take this entire fucking keyboard out, but if I have to, I have to. Oh, it's on the opposite side. I do like those magnetic power cables on the Mac. These are magnetic. They just, once it gets close enough, it just magnet. Alright, it's orange. Now I'm going to try to power it on. Okay, well, this fan spin. Oh, that one's spinning, but it's very, very weak. That one's spinning. Oh, now it's spinning. No, they're both kind of weak, but maybe that's why there's two fans. Okay, well, the fans are spinning, so we know that much. That's good. So it's not the fans, it's not dust. So now I continue with my troubleshooting, and I think probably, did it try to boot yet? Maybe not. Let me grab a paper towel so I can just get rid of the dust off the screen. I haven't heard the Mac noise, so let's see, make sure that's tight. I haven't heard that dong, dong, the chime or whatever the Mac chime. I cannot reproduce the Mac chime. It's really not doing much. We took out the battery. Oh, well, duh. We took out the memory. Duh. Let's cut the power. But we know it's not the fans. So that's a good thing. Otherwise I'd have to order a replacement fan, and you know, they both spin. That's good. They're not dustified. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take an eraser. I'm going to clean both memory modules. Let me get my eraser. Now, I try to remember the order that the memory was installed. You know why? Because I swap them. This one was second. I'm pretty sure I could go back and rewatch the video. I think this was the one on the bottom. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to swap the memory modules after I clean them. I just take a rubber eraser. You can use what's known as rubbing alcohol, but the proper term is isopropyl alcohol. 99% isopropyl alcohol. You can get it at like Walgreens, and I don't think the dollar store would have it, but I could be wrong, but I'm pretty certain that like a drugstore like Walgreens would carry isopropyl alcohol. 99%. Walmart, blah 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 blah. So since I already have the memory taken out, I'm just gonna go ahead and clean the gold contacts anyways. And then I wanna make sure it doesn't leave any rubber shavings from the eraser. I would recommend using, well, whatever. I think isopropyl alcohol is more productive than using an eraser, but I don't have any isopropyl alcohol. There's a Walgreens within walking distance, but I should probably buy some isopropyl alcohol because I think it's better. I should have bought it last night when I bought my razor, but I wasn't even thinking about that. I was more worried about getting a razor. My old one the motor doesn't spin. It charges, but it doesn't, the shaver, it doesn't spin anymore. So I don't know what's up with that, man. I took it apart, but I couldn't repair it. Maybe the battery isn't being charged enough, or the motor just failed, seized up. It's a little solenoid motor. So let me make sure there isn't any. It's kind of really quick. All right. Now that's that one. I can put it here. Let me unplug the power now to it, and I'm just gonna set this aside down there. Same thing with this other memory module. I'm pretty sure this is the first one I pulled out, so I'm gonna install this one last, and maybe it's a memory issue. And then I'm gonna test what this does is it will test each memory slot. And what I can also do is I'm not gonna videograph that because this problem is gonna probably require me at least a day, maybe a couple of days of just trying different type of tactics. The first thing I do is I strip down the computer as much as I can. Oh, there's the DVD drive right there. I might take it out during my troubleshooting and just completely remove it. Well, it looks like 3 screws. Yeah, I might remove it. Just to strip down the computer as much as possible. Alright, that's enough on that side. I never ever use cleaning solvents on computer components, electronics, anything, because you don't want to use because of the liquid. But isopropyl alcohol, it dries really quick. It evaporates it basically almost immediately. So that's why you can use it on electronics. Alright, that's enough. Just quickly, just really fast. Just make sure there isn't. Alright, that's it. Now I'm just going to reverse installing them because that'll swap them, and then also I want to test the different slots. So what you can do with memory is you can test one slot at a time, or like I like to do is I just revert. I don't know what that, nothing broke. It's just, I don't know what that noise was. Strange. Okay, let's go with the memory. So I just reverse them. Well, you know what? In order for them. Oh, okay. Let's just do it like this. Let me take this out. Let me get this out of the way. And I'm gonna install this one first. No, wait. No, this one first. I'm going to install this one first. And that should just snap right in. Boom. And then install this one second. And reverse the memory. That's a good thing to reseat them. And then also I just swap them. And then that's it. Then what you can do is you can test each memory slot at a time. This is a gold tip. Believe it or not, memory, even brand new memory, will fail. And what you do is, come on. I don't know why. I'm not really impressed with this Mac at this point, but as a technician, but you know, oh, there it goes. You can test one slot at a time. So you would leave this memory module installed, make sure it's all the way down and tight, and test that port, that slot. It's a DIMM, dynamic inline memory module. It could be a failing DIMM slot because the slots will fail, and sometimes they're permanent, or the memory itself fails. So what you do is just test one slot at a time, and there's only 2 slots in this computer, so the process of elimination. Well, when I tested the memory for 12 hours in this slot, the computer didn't shut off. Well, when I tested the top slot for 12 hours, it shut off a couple of times, and that will tell you right there. And then you can also test each memory module. So you're going to eliminate, is it the memory module that's bad, or is it the slot that went bad? Because memory modules can fail, and so can the slots. If you have a failing memory slot, what you do is you just use the other one, and you cannot use that slot any longer. That's all you do. You just have less memory. But you no longer have a MacBook Pro that fucking shuts down, and that's not good for the operating system. But for now, I'm just going to swap them and test it this way. So I have to plug the, what else? Am I going to take the DVD drive out right now? I don't know if I even want to, man. Oh, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 screws. I don't know. I think I might just leave it alone for now. If it was easier, well, it's not difficult. If it was less screws, I might take it out. But I don't know if I feel like taking out those 4 screws, man. I don't know. If I have to, you know, if I can't figure this out, I will take it out. But I don't know which cable is for the power. If I knew exactly what power cable for the DVD drive was, I would disconnect. It might be this one, it might be that one. Here, yeah. This one or that one, I just don't know. But I'm not going to take it out. I don't feel like taking these screws out. But you could strip it down to as whatever you can. You can also reseat the hard drive. This is a SATA drive. What you would do is, let's see. Oh yeah, right here. I think these screws right here. There's a screw. There's a screw right here. Let me point it out to you. Right there. And right there. And then there's this little, I don't know, that, and then that would lift up, I think, and then I think you could get to the hard drive. That's, am I going to do it now? The problem is that you've got these ribbon cables. You got this ribbon cable, and that's just loose. We could try to take out, we could try to reseat the hard drive while we're at it. Let's see what type of screw. That might be hexadecimal. Yes, it is. And I've got a hex right here in my hand, so let me see if I can loosen it. There, I got that one. Let me get this other one. Dang it, I'm not able to loosen it. I gotta get enough torque on it. I'm not really able to get enough torque on it. Let me try. How about like this? There, I think I got it. Yep, I got it. Sometimes with these hexadecimal screws, you gotta press down as hard as you can to get some torque, but you don't want to strip them. Well, the same thing with Phillips screws, but I've noticed, I could be wrong, but I've noticed these, I swear these hex screws, you have to apply more pressure in order to loosen them. I think that's what would keep the hard drive, yeah. And then I think I can do this. Yep, it's starting to lift up, and I might be able to pull this out. Okay, so this pulls out, but you need to become aware of all this because you don't want to break shit and you don't want to forget anything. So I think we can just set this aside, and then now if I can somehow, is there another screw I'm forgetting? Oh, maybe not. Oh wow. Oh, you know what? I don't even need to take it out. Look, I can just pull the connector. There. Am I going to be able to take it all the way out? I don't think so. It is loose now, but it won't come off all the way. Now, what is holding the rest? Probably these over here. Dang it. There, I got that one. Dang it. Usually if I angle my hand a certain way, I can get enough pressure. Shoot. I don't know if I have another torque screwdriver. These are small. It's not coming loose. Yeah. Does this lift up at all? No, you have to take that other screw off. I think. Yeah. Yeah, most likely. There's another screw here, right up here. You have to loosen this guy right here. There's a little bridge there. There's a bracket there that I think probably holds the hard drive down. I think. Yeah, it looks like it. I don't know if I have another little torque screwdriver. let's see. See if I can get leverage on it. Let me try my old trick. You can take a rubber band, or what I do is I use like a cloth or a towel or even a sock, and I put it, because you'll see how the red markings, you'll tear up your hands. So I'm going to try this. There, it worked. Sometimes you can hear the screw loosen. There, I got it. So I just took a sock or a towel or whatever you want to use, and what I do is I put my hand, put it there. I don't tear up my skin, and also then I put the screwdriver like that, and then I'm able to apply more pressure. Now you can use a rubber band. That sometimes you just put the rubber band in right there, and then you push down on the rubber band, and believe it or not, it'll loosen the screw. I think I got it loose, didn't I? Yeah, I did. Alright. Man, all of this just to get out the hard drive? Oh, well, wait. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, that one. Okay, this one. So there's this little bracket here with 2 screws. Now I think I can get, there we go. Now it comes right out. Alright, well, now I can unloosen the hard drive. I do that, reseating the hard drive. That's an old school trick. I used to use that in the 1990s. You disconnect the cable for the hard drive, and then you reconnect it, and sometimes that fixes the oddity. So we'll try that. Now I have all of that just to do that. Kind of silly, isn't it? Okay, so we have to let me put that back. Pretty sure that's how it goes. No, that's... Is it the op? No, that's not gonna work. Let me see. I created a further problem. That might sit there right like that. Alright, let's reattach it. Alright, reseat it. Boom. Let me take that tape that got stuck. There. Reseat it. Drop it down into the little... You might have to angle it this way. There. And then this guy, that guy, and then we'll have to reattach this guy. Is it the up? Yep. The other way around. Oops. Let's see. Oh, fuck. It's nice. You might want to use magnetic screwdrivers too. Alright, so here's this one. And here's another one. I always try to put things back together immediately because, you know, you end up forgetting, or you don't use the right screws, or you forget to replace this little tiny bracket, and there we go. There, you don't really have to tighten them that much. Now there's these. These are even smaller, but they're still hexadecimal. You don't really have to you don't have to torque them or anything, just get them tight. Alright, we got that. What else can I go over? DVD drive, I already went over that. I'm not going to worry about that right now. Make sure you replace things the way they're supposed to go, because this, you know, the way this ribbon cable angles, there's really only one way for this to set in here, but make sure you get it the right way, because when you put the cover back on and it's wrong, you know, you'll be able to tell. You don't want to break shit. Now, what else? So that's about it. The memory, I stripped it down. You know, you could take that. This is bad anyways. I don't know. I might take it out because it's failing. You don't really want failing components in a computer, but I don't know if the customer's going to want me to do that. I might eventually take it out, and I will tell the customer, look, I took it out because it's failing. There's no reason to have it. And, you know, and then I could quickly put it back in, but I'd have to take everything apart. So I'm not sure about that. Or what I could do is I could tell them, I can take out the DVD drive because it's failing if you want me to, or I'll just leave it in. Yeah, I don't know. But me personally, I don't leave parts in that aren't working, because what's the point? It may actually still power on, but it just doesn't work. I don't know. Let's see. So I think I'm going to boot it now, and we'll test that for a while. I need to run. This video has been quite lengthy already, but a lot of times my videos that I make that deal with hardware repair are long, really long, but that's because I freestyle them. I don't plan anything. I don't edit the videos. I don't cut anything out. I just record it, and I talk a lot too. Normally when you repair equipment, it doesn't take nearly as long as my videos. It's because you're not talking. You're just busy taking shit apart. So I think I'm going to test it this way, because we reset the memory, cleaned the contacts, I reset the hard drive, I stripped it down more. I could take out the DVD to strip it down, and the dust, we tested the fans and all that. I just want to, these are just some quick troubleshooting. I also took the battery out. I'm not going to test it with the battery, because so the customer says the battery doesn't charge. That could be the problem. And then I took I just stripped it down. Now I would take this out to strip it down as much as possible. Let me connect this back, and I think I'll power it on. And it just snaps in. You just have to line it up, and it should just snap down. Come on, there it goes. And then what I do is I leave it on for 12 hours, 24 hours, depends on what I do. And I just monitor it. If I notice it powered off, I try to, you can even write down notes, or you just take a mental note. Oh, well, I did this and it still powers off. Or I did this and now it's been running for a day or 2 days. Usually an intermittent shut off within a day at least. A couple hours, it just depends on. And this is probably towards the end of this video. The next steps would be to further narrow it down. Well, we tested the fans. It's not the fans. It's not the dust buildup. Well, I reseated the memory. And then another test I need to perform is the memory. Each slot, I'm going to test each memory separately, module, and I'm going to test each slot separately, but I'm not going to record that. The DVD drive, generally a failing DVD drive, I don't, that shouldn't cause it. Although I've never ran across, that's the root cause analysis, but it's a good idea to take it out of here because it fails, it doesn't work, and it's just going to eat up power anyways. So you may as well take it out, you know what I'm saying? That's just 4 screws, that's an easy one. Anything further, the hard drive, I reseated the hard drive. It could be the operating system, it could be. There's many different reasons why a computer or a MacBook is intermittently shutting down, which is never a good thing, because eventually it will fuck up the Mac operating system. Alright, so we'll just leave it kind of loosely like this, and then see if it'll... I have to plug it in first, but... And... I heard the DVD drive. I heard it spin. It just might fail, it just might not burn, or I don't know. But it definitely, I swear, I heard it power on. Here's the Mac power light on the front. It's white. Is it going to try to boot up? I haven't heard the Mac chime yet. Let's see. Sometimes this is what happens. I think these are like... What are these? These are like... What's that? You have a screw and a... These are for the screws, but sometimes they fall out of the computers when you fix them. But it's just plastic. So I just throw those away. I don't know, this guy isn't powering on now like normal. So I'm not sure what it's doing. The fans are both spinning. The hard drive is connected properly. And maybe it is a bad memory module. Yeah, a bad memory module will not, even a PC, some computers will not boot if the memory module is failing. It won't. Or it acts... you know what? Like, what was it? 6 months ago, I had a customer bring in an HP laptop that had the same problem. One of the memory modules was failing, and I narrowed it down to the memory module, because before that, she said it would sometimes just power off. It would just seize up, or it would just shut off. So maybe that's what the problem is here. I'm going to power it off. And unplug it, and I'll even do an ESD. We'll just take out the ESD, and what I'm going to do is I'll just disconnect that, because it's, I'm going to test the memory now. I wasn't going to record it, but that could be the problem. That's right, it's the opposite side now. That's alright, I just push it back down. So we'll just pull this one, and I'll try to make a mental note that we're testing. They're marked different too, so that makes it easier. So I took out the Micron memory. I'll set that aside and see if I can get the Mac to boot up now. So I didn't really make that many changes, but now the Mac is having a problem booting up. But the guy said that he's had all kinds of problems with this Mac, and he's just trying to salvage it. Let's see, where's the connector now? Oh, there it is. There we go. It's kind of loose a little bit. Huh, that's strange. Alright, now we'll press the power. There it goes. So the power light is on. I don't know if you can see it right by my finger. It's lit, but very dim. Oh, I hear the hard drives trying to spin. Right there, you can see it now. Now, when he first brought it to me, it booted up. He powered it on and booted up. But he said he hadn't used it in a couple of weeks because he's been having problems getting it to power on, or it'll run for a while, a couple hours, and then it'll just power itself off. So this could be one of those weird type situations where I have to use the process of elimination and try to figure out why it's intermittent. Now both fans are spinning, so that's a good sign. Maybe it's a failing memory slot. Usually Macs, when they work healthy, when they're functioning normally, boom, within a couple of seconds you'll hear the chime, and it goes through some kind of like a post. But this guy it's not even making a noise. Alright, well, let me power off, and I'm going to swap the memory now and try the other slot. I'm going to hold that down for ESD. And that's right. Oh no, that's right. Okay, so we're going to take it out from this side, and now I'm gonna swap slots, and I'm gonna test this module now, the same one in a different slot, and that I will test the slot and I will test the module. So that is part of the testing. So we'll just kill multiple birds with one stone that way. And it looks like it's pretty flush and tight. And now we'll see if it'll power on. Now I know with PCs, some PCs are finicky. Usually laptops, you only have to have one memory module installed in order for it to post. Desktops are different. Sometimes they have to be in pairs. Mac, I think Macs are the same. I think you only need one memory module per slot on the laptops or the MacBooks. So we got that, and now let me power it on and see if it does anything now. There it goes. This is an excellent video. Hey, I'll be blunt and honest. This is an excellent troubleshooting video because this is the kind of shit that I deal with on a daily basis. Sometimes it's in person, sometimes it's on the internet. So now the Apple chime, and you can even see the Apple logo, and it was within seconds. Generally, my experiences with Macs, when they are functioning properly, it's only a couple of seconds. Now this Mac shut down within seconds. It was a fast shutdown. And now it's going to boot up. And so I'm not gonna log in because it's a customer's computer, and so but I'm gonna shut it down now. And so that's a test. So I'm gonna shut it down. And so now with the process of elimination, what you can do is you can go and swap the memory again just to double check. So I'm just gonna take the same memory module. Now I'm not done yet. Eventually I'm gonna test this Micron module, you know, to make sure to test this one too. But for now we're just gonna use this one. And so let me loosen it up if I can. There it goes. And I'm gonna place it back in its slot, the bottom one, and we'll see if that causes it not to boot. Now I'm thinking it's most likely a bad slot, because if it was a bad memory module, then it wouldn't boot at all. It wouldn't matter what slot I installed it if it's the memory module itself that is failing. I'm thinking it's probably a failing memory slot, because it should have booted up the first time, unless there's some kind of weird electronics, some kind of strange shit going on. But yeah, that would cause an intermittent shutdown, a failing memory slot, just like that Hewlett-Packard that I ran across like 6 months ago. Okay, so let me try to power it on. There goes the power light right there. It's flashing. Now you notice how it's flashing? Why is that? That could be a LED. Those could be, well, I'm trying to figure out if there's a pattern. Blink, 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 blink. It's just blinking. That could be a pattern to diagnose a hardware failure. So this is 2 times in a row that when I install the memory into this other slot, the bottom slot, oh, you know what? It looks like it's not even, you know what? It's not even properly seated. I could already tell. That might be why the power light is flashing. That's some kind of a LED troubleshooting hardware. So let me, and then that's not even, yeah. So let's try that. Let's try to loosen it again. All right. That was sloppy, but I'm kind of in a hurry because I have to get to this third-party website where I earn additional income, supplemental income, and I got to get a few hours in, or an hour or something. Although I did get 2 ratings yesterday, but still. Oh, that fell out. Yeah, this guy is just really cheap aluminum. It looks like it's a heat shield for that button, or the, yeah, whatever that is. I think it's a heat shield. Okay, so now let's try it. Oh man. Alright, so oh, well, duh. Now lay it down, and there's the power light. It's solid. This time it's not flashing, but in my opinion this Mac is not going to power on, because I think that memory slot is bad. Or it's starting to fail. It's just not working right. See? It's not powering on. And I'm not, it should have chimed already. And I'm not going to wait around. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shut it down, and I'm going to show you on camera I'm gonna even change the memory module now. And so now that always comes loose, but it's, you know, not gonna break anything. And I'm gonna loosen this guy and take this guy out, and I'm gonna install the Micron memory module in the bottom slot, and it should boot right up if I'm correct. So we'll use the Micron this time, and I will also test the Micron inside the first slot. Well, I could do that right now. I may as well. It should not boot up. Make sure that that's tight. It has to be seated tight, otherwise it... Okay. There it goes. Alright, so now we'll just... Oh, look. Now that one works. That one powered right on. So maybe it is this memory module. This is a 1 gigabyte DDR2 PC2 5300. Now, it would not boot in this same slot twice. I moved it to the other slot, the top slot, it booted. I moved it back, it wouldn't boot. This one, the Micron, booted in that bottom slot right away. So I'm going to click back. I don't need to... I'm going to shut it down. And now I'm going to test the other slot. So I could be wrong. It could be the memory. And this should only take a few seconds to shut down. See, it's already powered off. This Mac, the operating system is in pretty good shape because of the shutdowns are pretty quick. Now I'm going to move this Micron to the top slot. Now they're labeled. They'll be, I think, slot A or slot B, or however they're labeled on a Mac. So I'm going to move this to the, well, technically it was the top one, but from the bottom it's my top, whatever the fuck. You know what I'm saying? There's only 2 slots. So make sure it's tight, and I'm going to, let's try that. Make sure they're really tight and all the way down. Alright, now that little heat, this keeps falling out, the little heat shield, but whatever. It's starting to annoy me because it keeps falling out. I don't even know how necessary it is to have it, but alright. Oh, you know what? Were there screws that held that down? No, I don't think so. Alright, I think that's... Oh, you know what? This little heat shield is driving me nuts now. Is that the way it should be? Oh, I had it. I might have had it. Did I have it backwards? Let's see, how does that... Yeah, I might have had it backwards. Let's try to line it up correctly now. I don't really like when they add this kind of crap to these computers. These little flimsy little things. Alright, I think that's in there. Alright. Now I gotta snap this down and we shall see if it boots up now. Come on. There we go. And press power. nothing. What? Why not? Oh, there it goes. Oh, there it goes. It's chiming. It chimed right away. So, that was a little bit of a delay, but so now with the Micron memory module, 1 gigabyte 52 PC 5300, it powered on right away in both slots. This one would not power on in one of the slots. So that tells me it's most likely the memory. And I ran across this before. So that is my video. That is because of the process of elimination. I will still keep it. I'll leave it the way it is now overnight and make sure that it's not something else. But I mean, I just proved it on video that it's the memory module, which does occur. I thought for a minute it was the slot because this guy. I thought it was the slot because every time this memory module would boot in one of the slots. So I was like, oh, it must be the slot, but no, the Micron boots in both slots. So instead, not to overcomplicate it, that's it, man. Most likely the memory module is bad, and that's why this Mac, if it has problems booting up, then a failing memory module or a failing memory slot will cause a computer to intermittently shut down. That's my video. Adios.